Hi everyone, welcome to Evie's Toy House, and today we're making a brand new split pony. I have Princess Celestia here, and I'm going to turn her into a split pony of Daybreaker and Nightmare Moon. As you may know, Daybreaker is the evil version of Princess Celestia, and Nightmare Moon is the evil version of Princess Luna. I think they will look so cool together as the ultimate villain. So let's get started. Let's remove the crown and then cut off the tail and also the mane. I think this is the hardest part because the mane is so pretty. Now with a bit of masking tape, I'm going to tape Princess Celestia right down the middle. This will separate the dark paint on Nightmare Moon's side. The right side of the cutie mark will be Daybreaker and the other side will be Nightmare Moon. Now using a dark blue, we're going to paint Nightmare Moon's side. As you can see, this is going to take quite a few coats to get that very nice and even dark blue color. Don't forget the feet, but we're only doing 2. And of course, half the horn. There we go, now it's looking really good. Let's take off the masking tape, and oh wow, look, it's looking so good. Alright, so we have our split pony, dark blue and white. And I've gone ahead and penciled in the eyes so that we know where it's going to be. This will help protect the dark blue paint because we're going to put some clay over it. Next, using a piece of air dry clay, we're going to cut out the mane. The edges are going to be wavy so it looks like it's flowing in the wind. And now we're going to smooth it down and make sure it fits on the head. Next, we're going to take smaller pieces of air dry clay and start to build up the helmet. Both Daybreaker and Nightmare Moon wear a helmet on their head, so we're going to make this using air dry clay. Okay, this is going to cover their eyes. With an X-Acto knife, we're going to carefully cut the clay. So we need to be especially careful on Nightmare Moon's side because we have that blue paint down already. We're going to scrape off the clay around the eyes. Okay, this is starting to look really good. And now for Daybreaker's side. This one we still need to be careful, but not as much because we did not put any paint, so we won't be scratching it. I love how the helmets are actually different. And clean off the edges here. Now since we're still working with the clay, let's go ahead and cut out the tail. The tail is also going to have wavy edges. I'm going to clean up the edges here and then put it aside so that it can dry overnight. Now that the clay is dried, we're going to go ahead and paint Nightmare Moon's eyes. So instead of white, we're going to use light blue as the base. And they're nice and big. Then for the irises, we're going to use a metallic turquoise. This looks really cool. And of course, we're going to add black pupils and 2 white dots. Now we're going to paint the helmet. We're going to use blue for this. So here we need to be a little bit more careful because we don't want to paint the pony, just the helmet. And over here on top, we're going to paint it right down the middle because Daybreaker's helmet is actually a different color. And of course, we need to paint the mane. So the mane is going to be the same color as the helmet. And it's a little bit harder here just because the wings are so close. So I do have to pull the wings aside like this. And that's why my thumb is in the way. And of course, we also need to paint the shoes on her hooves. This is also the same color blue. And I'm just going to follow the edges that's already on the feet. I love how this lighter blue stands out against the darker blue. And of course, we can't forget the hind feet. We're only going to do 2. Alright, this is looking so good. Next, back to Daybreaker's side, we're going to paint the mane a light yellow color. But for the helmet, we're actually going to use a brighter and darker yellow. This is more of a gold color. Of course, we also have to paint these spikes on the top of her helmet. and the front here. Ooh, this is looking so good against her white skin. Now we're going to come back with orange and paint in some areas in orange. So a little piece up here in the front, and also these little crown pieces up on top of the helmet. Oh my gosh, doesn't this orange look great? There's also a little orange piece right back here. This helmet looks so good. And now we're going to take a little bit of that orange and we're going to paint the tips of her wings right up here, the little edges here. I think this is actually part of her armor. So it's that nice bright orange. And this is going to be on the inside and the outside. Down here on her hooves, we're going to paint it the same orange. Next, we're going to do Daybreaker's eyes. So with a bit of acetone on a Q-tip, I'm going to rub off the original eyes for Princess Celestia. I'm only going to do half of it because I want to keep the eyelashes. And then with the dark orange, we're going to come back in and paint in the eyes. So her eyes, instead of white, it's going to be dark orange. Kind of like a burnt orange. Then for the irises, we're going to paint in really small yellow irises. So this is starting to look pretty evil. The pupils are going to be black and it's a narrow slit. And 2 white dots. Alright, so for Nightmare Moon's mouth, we're going to paint in some teeth. Give her a really evil smile. Look at that. And finally, we're going to build the breastplate. So we should have done this earlier, but I totally forgot about it. So now we have a little piece of air dry clay. We're going to kind of press it onto the chest. And then using my X-Acto knife, we're going to cut out the shapes of the breastplate. So Nightmare Moon and Daybreaker have different ones. Over here, the straps are going to be the same. So they start out the same. And Nightmare Moon's plate curves inwards, whereas Daybreaker's plate turns outwards. So this is looking really good. I'm going to paint Daybreaker's side a bright orange right down the middle here. Of course, Nightmare Moon's is going to be blue. Here we're going to add a light blue crescent, but just half of it. And on the other side, half a sun. So some yellow over here. And now for the cutie marks. So for Nightmare Moon, we're going to add her cutie mark, starting with some purple and then a crescent moon in light blue. And for Daybreaker, we're going to keep the sun, but instead we're going to paint the background. So using a bit of yellow here, we're going to kind of fade it in and add in a touch of orange. And finally, we're doing the tail. Here is Nightmare Moon's tail. It's going to be blue. And then using a makeup sponge, I'm going to dab on a bit of purple. I'm dabbing it on because I want a gradient going from purple to blue instead of a very hard purple line. This sponge makes it so much easier to give it that gradient look. For Daybreaker, we're going to start with a light yellow and paint the whole thing. And then, similar to the other side, we're going to dab on a bit of orange. And for the final touch, we're going to add a bit of glitter. Nightmare Moon is going to get some very fine silver glitter. And Daybreaker here is going to get some gold confetti. This will look a little bit like flames. Alright everyone, so we are done. These split ponies take much more time to make because it's almost like making 2 ponies. So over here we have Daybreaker's side. As you can see, she is a beautiful white with lots of orange, and her mane and tail are a mix of yellow and orange. And over here is her helmet and also her eyes, her big angry eyes. Oh my goodness. And here on the other side, we have Nightmare Moon. So Nightmare Moon is a dark blue color. I think previously I used to make her so blue that she is almost black, but this one is a little bit lighter so you can actually see that it's blue. And she has a mix of purple and blue for her tail. And of course we added some glitter to give it that shimmer. Here is an up-close look of her face. Here's her big eyes and her evil smile. Here they are right down the middle. On this side we have Nightmare Moon, and then when we turn to the other side we have Daybreaker. And just to compare, I do have my other customs. So over here is my Nightmare Moon and Princess Luna. So this one was a lot of fun to make. For this one I did make Nightmare Moon much darker. I think I like her in the newer version because she is a lighter blue and doesn't look so black. Next, we also have a split pony of Princess Celestia and Daybreaker. So here, of course, is the Princess Celestia side. And on the other side, we have Daybreaker. So Daybreaker here, I use a different technique to make the tail. This is more of a liquid clay, so it has that little flame effect going on. The one we made today, of course, is a little bit different. This one has gold confetti instead. And for some reason, even though these two are actually the same size, this one looks much bigger, don't you think? I think it's because of this mane just flying out there. And last of all, I have a split pony of Princess Celestia and Princess Luna. So this is the good princess, and here are the bad princess sides. So now we have both the good and bad split ponies. Alright everyone, so let me know down below in the comment section what you think of my split Daybreaker and Nightmare Moon. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!